I can't believe I'm saying this, but America has only one international cosplay contest, and that's the Crown Championships of Cosplay at C2E2. But this country that has thousands of cosplay competitions and several that send an American to other countries like Japan, Spain, Sweden, we only have one opportunity to welcome international contestants to walk across our craftsmanship stage. Hi, I'm Casey Renee Cosplay. I'm an award-winning cosplayer, author, sewing educator, and cosplay contest judge. I just had the honor of judging the Crown Championships of Cosplay for the second time. If you've never heard of the Crown Championships of Cosplay before, let me fill you in on a little bit. The Crown, as we call it, is a regional, national, and international craftsmanship cosplay contest here in the United States. There are anywhere between 5 and 12 countries every year holding qualifying contests that can send their champion to America to compete for the crown. Here in America, we have 3 regional contests in Florida SuperCon, in Emerald City Comic Con, which is in Seattle, and New York Comic Con. We have the final regional that will come from Chicago at C2E2. Before I introduce you to some of the contestants this year, let me explain to you how the judging works and what we are looking for as judges. Contestants are given their judging time slot prior to the convention. For the Crown Championship Finals, they are broken up into regional, national, and international. And each group has a time period in which their judging will take place. For the regional contestants, they start from 10:45 until 3:45. Our national contestants are from 4:15 to 4:45, and then our international contestants were from 5 to 5:30. We have lots of time in between to deliberate, take breaks, eat, things like that. But typically this day is a pretty tight schedule and we stay on task with 5 minutes per contestant. Good morning, it is contest day and I am putting on a face of makeup because I have breakfast at 9 and then I have to be there at 10:30. I got to meet the contestants, the international and regional last night, and give them all hugs and just like tell them to drink water. It was really nice. It was really chill. So we're rocking and rolling. We're ready for, I think it's gonna be 34 contestants for regional, the 3 for the US, and then 5 for global. So it's gonna be a long day. It starts at 10:30, ends at 6, and then I change for a little bit and stage time is at 7:30. So come follow me, we're gonna have a good day. This is where the contestants will walk into our judging room. We will ask them if we are allowed to touch their costume, take photos, videos, and then we ask them to tell us about how they made their costume. This is the most important part of the day for them. This year, Emma, our lovely contest runner and a true leader in this space, collected all of the build books the day before the contest, so we already had them on hand and the contestants didn't have to hand them to us. This kind of helps make the process go a little bit faster and it allows us to look through the books before they come in if that's what we would like to do. Each contestant gets to tell us about their costume. They get to highlight techniques used, materials, they get to show us any aspect of their costume. Many of them like to hand us their props so that we can inspect them. They allow us to flip seams. Some of them even take layers off so that we can see the construction on the inside and how everything fits perfectly together. Some contestants bring in samples. For example, if you have a very specific 3D print that you want to show us. It's not necessary, but it is helpful. I was honored to get to judge alongside last year's Crown Champion Matthew Berry and the reigning International Cosplay League champion Trina. As judges, we are looking for a well-fit garment, clean finishings, how close is it to the reference image, and level of difficulty properly mastered. What do these things mean? I'll break them down for you. Let's start with fit. This means how well does the costume fit your body and fit in with the other pieces in your costume? Does the bodice properly fit over your corset and hoop skirt? Does your leather breastplate fit over the chainmail or gambeson that you have created underneath it? Do your armor pieces run into each other because there wasn't enough room left for you to actually properly articulate your arms or your feet? These are the kinds of things we're looking for in fit. It does go beyond just sewing, unlike what a lot of people think, and it's a really important aspect of how you move in your costume. Clean finishes. This goes beyond, did you finish your seams? This can include, did you sand down your 3D prints so that we don't see any seam lines? Did you burnish the edges of your leather? Are the wires from your battery pack just hanging around so that we can see? Or did you properly find places to hide them? Can I see a ton of thread on the inside of your costume from all of your hand beading or hand embroidery? Can I see the seams of your prosthetic when you applied it to your face? If you were weathering pieces, did you take the right steps to properly seal whatever materials you were using to actually weather your armor or your fabric? This all goes into clean finishing. This, as well as fit issues, are the two biggest mistakes that I see in cosplay contests. Reference. Does your costume look like the reference image you provided to us? Is the applique on the skirt proportional to the size of the skirt? Is the silhouette of the costume proportional to the silhouette in the picture? Are armor pieces missing? Were these the right fabric choices for the costume? Next up is difficulty. This is the hardest of these four to translate into a costume. For difficulty, we are looking for how many techniques were masterly applied to the costume that made sense for this costume. If a costume requires leather, casting, sewn garments, embroidery, and 3D printing, how difficult are those techniques to complete? And how well did the cosplayer execute the pieces that they put onto the costume? Also, what's the reasoning behind the choice of technique? Did you hand make hooping channels just because? Or was there something specific about those hooping channels that had to be handmade? Maybe you can't get hooping channels in your country. Did you add ventilation to a wig because the character has a funky hairline? Or are you just ventilating a wig just to say you ventilated a wig? I could do an entire video on how to work smart, not hard, when you are making costumes for a cosplay contest, but that's not this video, so you kind of get the picture of what I mean by difficulty. Intention matters. Once prejudging is over, the contestants can head on over to the green room, the convention floor, or even back to their hotel to relax while the other contestants are being judged. If you're interested in understanding how this day goes for a contestant of this contest, I recommend checking out Plexi Cosplay's video. She is covering everything from the contestant's perspective of this contest. She's even interviewing a few of them. So I recommend heading over to her YouTube channel when you're finished with this video and checking it out. Once all the contestants are prejudged, we get to sit down with all their build books and deliberate on who is going to represent Chicago as the regional champion. This process normally starts with us dividing up the contestants into definite yes, maybe, and definite no. We dive deep into the maybe section and put them in definite yes or definite no. From there, we look at all of our yeses. This is the point where the build books are the absolute most important. This is going to help remind us what techniques were used, how things laid. This is also why we take pictures of the costumes in the place and why it's so important for us to be able to have all of those references so that we can see the things and remember the things that we looked at earlier in the day. The Crown Championships at C2E2 has an entire set of awards just for the region. You have the best special effects, the best in armor, and the best in needlework. They also have a first, second, and third.
With our armor category, please put your hands together for May Jean Cosplay. All right, in our needlework category, Siren Cosplay. Our effects category is facade costuming as Krampus. We have in third place, Magpie Crossings as Mulan. In second place, Tirza 89 as High Lady Suroth from Wheel of Time. Jin from Ghoul.
Now our regional winner is gonna go head to head against the other regional contestants that came in from Florida, Seattle, and New York.
We have Shetty Media as Leah the Prime Evil from Diablo 3 from Florida SuperCon. And finally, from Emerald City Comic Con in Seattle, Washington, it is Momo Naberi as Queen Amidala of Naboo from Star Wars Episode.
All right, next up, selected at New York Comic Con, patterned cosplay as Fire Song Kotreva from the Baltimore Novels by Mercedes Lackey and Laren Dixon.
Here is Undead Toasty as Jin from Ghost of Tsushima.
Once all of our regional contestants have been prejudged, we can get real picky on who our national champion is going to be. This process has us back to our build books. Now we are looking for mistakes. We are trying to figure out whose costume is the best by figuring out what all of the mistakes each contestant made, and to be honest, the one we chose was damn near perfect. We could not find a thread out of place. Every choice was intentional and impeccably articulated, and the technique was beautifully shown.
What's happening now is these are all our folks, our winners now from the United States and North America, and one of these folks is moving forward to the Crown Championship to compete with our international contestants. And please make some noise for Patterner Cosplay as Fire Song.
And Plexi Cosplay was in the front row to watch the contestant that her and her group of judges chose to represent the region now gets to go head to head and compete to be a global champion. But first, let's catch up with our international contestants. So, the night before the contest, there was a little meet and greet with the international contestants, regional contestants, and myself. All of the judges were invited if we wanted to come by and meet them. Of course, I chose the opportunity to say, hey, I'm gonna be looking at your costumes. I'm gonna be here to be judgy, but tonight I get to be nice and sweet and cute. Super great. And I felt personally as a judge, like that broke the tension for me. So when they came in, I could just greet them as if I knew them already and there was none of that like weird awkwardness. And now let's talk about our 5 international contestants.
Up first is Stacy's mom as Strawberry Miku from Vocaloid, selected at Unicon in Latvia. Miku is a labor of love with a focus on intricate details. The skirt is made from over 18 yards of fabric. It features a beautiful mix of layers and embellishments, including notes made from resin and rhinestones. The blouse and corset, designed to take your breath away, create a striking silhouette. Handcrafted leather stiletto heels add elegance. while arm sleeves are accented with 18-karat gold-plated beads. The 3D printed headphones feature LED lights, and the 4'9" fork was molded from resin and had to make it here on an airplane. The wig stands at 4 feet with each flower petal in it carefully handcrafted from UV resin. One more time, from Unicon in Latvia, it is Stacy's mom. All right, here it is. It is Anilik as Navia from Genshin Impact, selected at MCM Birmingham Comic-Con. Check this out. Now, this costume took over a year to make, making it her most complex costume ever. Everything was self-patterned and scaled closely to the character for complete accuracy. The structure and volumes of the skirts were created with a handmade muscle pad, multiple circle skirts, and heavy wing interfacing to achieve the desired silhouette. A range of 3D printing techniques were used, as well as molding and casting various gold pieces in flexible rubber. The umbrella includes a customized frame, as well as custom printed fabric, and the wig alone took over 100 hours to make, but was essential in fully embodying this character. From Comic-Con Africa, Blue Robot Studios as Thorin from The Hobbit. These Thorin Oakenshield cosplay showcases various craftsmanship techniques and materials. All patterns were created from scratch, with 223 armor and bucket pieces crafted from EVA foam and cast in resin for a metallic finish. The faux leather jacket, lined to mimic animal skin, captures Thorin's regal yet rugged style. Took 50 hours to complete. Faux leather bracers and belt add detail, while his iconic oaken shield was hand-carved from EVA foam. The Dwarven sword was crafted from PVC sheets, and the boots were fully cobbled, and extra weathering finishes were added for a battle-worn authenticity. Blue Robot Studios from South Africa. Up next, from PAX in Australia, it's Hench Wench as Hulson from Baldur's Gate 3. Alright. Forever a cosplay generalist. Hench's primary construction technique for this costume was all of them. Leatherwork, traditional braided wire jewelry, corsetry, over 100 handmade leather Samana leaves, web felted shoemaking. The list goes on and on and on. Not a single fabric on this costume exists without a custom dye job, and she tooled the leather armor entirely using custom 3D printed leather stamps based on the in-game models. It all came together into a costume that says, ducks. I like ducks. Alright, from Spain, it's Violet as Violetta from Sekizo's Girls Art Book. Violet's costume is inspired by the Baroque design, which in turn is a costume of European Baroque inspiration. The corset is composed of several pieces, 15 whale bones, embroidery, and many crystals which were sewn one by one. The skirt contains more than 120 meters in ruffles, and she used a Spanish technique of flamenco dresses to get that volume without the need of metal hoops. She made all the flowers in this costume by hand with only 3 meters of fabric. Each petal was cut, treated, painted, decorated, and assembled to achieve this result. Finally, she reinforced the wig with a metal frame to hold the shape without deforming. And again, all of this stuff had to fit in a suitcase.
You can see now why the stakes are so high and how wonderful of an opportunity it is to get to see this kind of craftsmanship brought to an American stage. We couldn't agree on a single person for a single spot in the third, second, or first placement, so we just gathered our notes, took a little bit of a break to get into costume, have a snack. Amanda opened a salon in the green room and did my hair. Thank you to my bestie, Jedi Amanda, for being here on this journey with me. And finally, once we were all in the getup, they brought us backstage so that we could watch 43 contestants show their stuff on stage at C2E2. With the regional and the national champions crowned, it was time to watch our international champions walk the stage. Every single one of these contestants showed up and represented their countries. Thousands of miles traveled, years of costume construction, research, testing, and maybe a little bit of crying was put into the art that we witnessed cross that stage. In deliberations, we had to discuss every storytelling aspect, every stitch, strand of hair, brushstroke was considered until finally we returned from our green room to award our top 3 contestants.
I would love to. First off, I just want to say that I am so thankful to be here myself. We don't have a qualifier in Denmark for crowns, so I never thought I would be able to stand on this stage. So thank you very much to C2E2 for having me. It means the world. I'm so excited to be announcing the third place winner. This cosplay is just so beautiful. There's so much attention to detail, and it's just like perfection. It's so gorgeous. I'm sure you all thought the same. So I'm really excited to announce that the third place goes to Anelik from the UK.
Alright, so this was a really hard decision between second and first. Obviously, it is always an extremely hard decision. It was so hard that we had to see them move on stage and we had to get extremely nitpicky. But the costume that we have chosen for second place is an absolutely spectacular costume. It is beautiful. The amount of hours spent on just the tiniest details, and when you think about what they did to it and the way that it moves and how light and airy it is, I am so excited to say that Pattern Cosplay from the United States is our second place.
Here we are again, a whole year later, and we're ready to choose our next crown champion. That we have the very hard job of looking for perfection in costumes. I present to you your next crown champion. From Australia, Henshin Scrap!
As you can tell, the techniques and stories brought to the stage from the international contestants have inspired the American craftsmanship cosplay community as a whole. Every year, we get the opportunity to make friends with people who experience this craft completely different than we do. Every year, I come home with memories and stories that will live with me and be fused into the art that I create every single day. Sometimes it's new techniques or new terminology that I get to learn and research and maybe even use in my own costumes. The lifeblood of this contest is Emma and Sela, who work incredibly hard at building this bridge between these nations so that we here in America can have something nice. In a time where giving others something nice is incredibly hard to do, we have this community, we have these people, we get this contest that allows us to make new friends, to learn new things, to raise the bar, and to make better art. Thank you, ReadPop. Thank you, C2E2. And thank you to every single contestant who has competed to qualify in every single country, including the United States, to be a part of this contest, to represent your craft, to represent your country, to represent your community, and to come and join others like you where we can learn and love each other. Thank you for walking on that stage, and thank you for inspiring us all. That's all I have for you today. Make sure you check out Plexi Cosplay's video covering the contestants' perspective of the Crown Championships of Cosplay. And maybe, if you liked this kind of stuff, you could watch my 2023 Crown Championships of Cosplay video. That one was pretty neat. If this video inspired you, please give it a like and maybe comment below and let me know that this inspired you. And subscribe to my channel for more sewing, cosplay, and convention videos. Until next time, stay spooky, friends!